Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one of our quick hit audios for premium subscribers only. Today I'm joined by Rob Quinn, and we are going to talk about some things, but first I want to get into why Eric's not joining us. He's a little busy today running around with the news of the Athletic coming to Buffalo, and Eric is part of the first all-star team here to cover the Bills for the Athletic, so huge news for Cover One. What are your thoughts there, Rob?
How's it going, Aaron? First of all, yeah, Eric is well deserving of that spot with the Athletic. I mean, he's been busting his butt for years. Probably one of the best follows for any NFL fan, really, that wants to learn the game, the X's and O's parts. He still wants Cover One going strong, and we're keeping it moving. But the Athletic, that's a huge move for him, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, it's big for the whole Cover One team and the brand, and like Rob said, we're still ramping up the coverage here at Cover One, so don't feel like because of that news you're gonna the premium members are gonna suffer at all, because we're just ramping up. We were just talking before we got on here with Eric about some of the cool things that we're gonna differentiate ourselves as Cover One moving forward into the season. So, and one of those things is these quick hit audio. Obviously, you guys follow the podcast, but when things are in between and we don't have enough to record a full podcast, some thoughts, things like that we want to talk about, we'll hop on here and give you guys this content. So the thing I wanted to talk to Rob about today was I've been reading the articles since OTAs ended about Nathan Peterman being a serious consideration to start this year. And I'm not here to knock Nathan Peterman. I do think that fans jumped the gun a little bit on crowning how terrible he is. I think fans jumped the gun a little bit before he started on how good he is. I think he's somewhere in the middle of a developmental backup quarterback guy. But one thing that I want to get your opinion on, Rob, because I've got an opinion that I'll share too, is people saying, all right, we saw 2 to 3 OTA practices, reporters, coming in saying, I saw these practices. He went 10 for 13 or whatever it was in an 11 on 11. The guy should be a serious contender. One reporter even stated that it's clear that he has the best grasp on the offense, which I think that's a pretty bold claim to make from 2 to 3 practices. You don't know, one, the plays they're running, whose assignments are actually doing the right assignments. There's a lot that goes into it to say he clearly has a grasp on the offense that's better than anyone else. You just don't know. I mean, when Josh Allen's in there, receivers could be missing their assignments or defenses could be giving them different looks. There's just a lot to make that claim. What are your thoughts on these reports coming out of OTAs where we just don't even know anything yet?
Yeah, it's really like Mad Libs with these off-season training activities and mini camps where you're going to hear the players coming in the best shape of their life, and this is going to be his breakout year, and this is their time. And you hear the same thing every single off-season with that. We heard the same last year with Nathan Peterman. Him and Brandon Riley had a great connection during training camp, which carried over into the preseason to the point where fans wanted him to start. Then he gets his opportunity and throws 5 interceptions against the San Diego Chargers, so the Los Angeles Chargers. But so we know how last season went. I think it's hard to say he's a lock, but he's definitely in the running for the starting job, as all Bills quarterbacks are at the moment. But I think it's a little early to go that bold with a claim like that.
Yeah, and I think that's where my biggest issue is, right? OTAs, nobody's winning the quarterback job, or really any job in any of the positions that are competing. McDermott says they're all in competition right now. But nobody's winning that in 2 weeks of OTAs where pads aren't even on, balls aren't live, things like that. So to come out, I think it's really, I hate to say anyone's doing clickbait, but I do think it's a little bit for clicks to generate some news in this slow time. And I just found it really bold statement to say, hey, I'm out there as a reporter and I've seen 2 to 3 practices, and I can tell you right now that he has the best understanding of the offense just because he's completed more passes. I think that's a very narrow way to analyze a practice environment. I think it's totally fair to say, hey, when he's in, the offense has performed better. That's a totally fair assessment. But to come in and say, I can tell that this guy is performing the offense better, because Eric can't even tell that. If Eric is at practice, who is a film junkie and knows the game better than almost anyone I know, I don't think that without watching the All-22 or really seeing what the play was develop, that he would know who has a better understanding of the offense. Do you think it's a bold claim there?
I think it is, because like you said, what if Leslie Frazier just wants to get some young guys out and says, hey, go run this coverage with this front.
Trying something new, right?
Just try it out. I mean, there's wearing shorts in OTAs, so We know that. So you can put up numbers against defenses just testing out different scheme things, how guys play with each other, communication. A lot goes into it. We'll really start to see more in camp when the pads are on and it's real practices, but I don't think you can take much away from the last 3-4 weeks of OTAs and minicamp.
Right, and so much more goes into a play than the quarterback, and I think this was an argument we had about Tyrod a lot, and obviously there's great examples of Tyrod missing guys and things like that, but receivers have to know the play too, and it's hard to compare Nate Peterman going up with the ones versus McCarron with the twos and Allen with the threes, or even if they're all mixing in, because you got guys that are young guys at receiver position, tight end position, that they might not be hitting their spots, and maybe the play would have been open if everyone on offense understood the play, but you're going to have some of that. All through training camp, you're going to see that miscommunications. You're going to see it into the season. Happens to every team in every game. So I thought it was really crazy that, because I don't even know what the offense is going to look like. I think everybody is assuming that it's going to be some of the stuff he's bringing over from Alabama, but I think it's going to be suited to the players. So for him to say, this player understands the offense better than others, I just thought it was a really bold assessment. Outside of the assessment, what did you think of the overall things that you heard coming out for the quarterbacks? I mean, are you excited for the competition? Are you worried about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but I know everyone said that I hated Josh Allen, and I was not a fan of him coming out. I guess as fans were kind of trained ourselves to talk ourselves into guys, and I kind of let myself do that a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to sit around for 4 years just blasting the guy. He does have a lot to work on, but then you watch him and he's got those tools and he just makes plays. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I wrote a long article on him, historical quarterbacks that have been like him, and hopefully he can turn out like a Matt Stafford, and hopefully he doesn't turn out to be a Ryan Leaf, who compares very similarly in college. But right now I'm excited. I like A.J. McCarron if Allen isn't ready to go, and Peterman, hopefully he can make some strides going into year 2 and kind of leave his bad rookie year in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So I was a huge Josh Allen hater during the draft process, and when they took him, I was definitely disappointed. I don't have a problem, though, when people say, oh, well, you're just a fan, and now you talked yourself into it. I think Eric brings up a great point of what scouts need to do. When scouts get their eyes on players, they don't just necessarily always go to the weaknesses. They look at their strengths and say, all right, every player's got weaknesses. How can we work with their strengths? And that's what I've tried to do since they've taken Josh Allen. It's out of my control now. Josh Allen's a member of this team. They're pinning the future of the franchise on his success. So all I'm trying to think about is, how do we get the most out of those tools that we know are good, and how do we hide the weaknesses that we know are going to be weaknesses for the first 3 to 4 years, like you said. And I'm somewhere in there. It's not that I'm saying all of a sudden, all right, yeah, I'm with you guys. This guy's the savior of the future.
Now, if you think about Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott being part of the Panthers staff that drafted Cam Newton, remember, they're kind of similar in terms of size, athleticism, that big arm. I don't think Cam's arm is as big as Allen's by any means, but the Panthers did install a lot of Auburn's playbook for Cam's rookie season. So having watched Cam during their time there, it probably gave them some ideas. Okay, he might not be ready for this. Let's see what he excelled at Wyoming. What schemes and concepts was he able to grasp quickly and work well with. Brian Dable was a guy, like you said, who's willing to adapt. And I think you have to. If Allen's on the field, you want to tailor it around his skills. Otherwise, there's no sense really drafting a quarterback at number 7 if you're going to force him to do something that he's not going to be good at.
Yeah, and to the competition itself, too, I don't know how it's going to shake out. I know, obviously, Peterman's the hot, in the market right now. People are talking a lot of Peterman because he had success and supposedly has the best grasp of the offense. But we have, as quick as training camp goes by for fans, it's actually a pretty long process for the players, and there's a lot to happen while they're at St. John Fisher this summer. And I think it's going to be really difficult for these other quarterbacks, and just the small amount that I've seen and watched, just the arm talent of Josh Allen is put him above these other guys, and the throws that he can make that they just simply can't. I don't care how well Nathan Peterman knows the playbook. This isn't a knock against Peterman, because I do think that he can have some success at the NFL. But there are throws that Josh Allen can make very easily that Nathan Peterman's going to struggle to make. And we saw it in the Jacksonville game on that last interception, and you see it in some of the practice videos, that some of those throws 15 yards out really just float on their way there, where Josh Allen, it's like getting shot out of a cannon. You have to be able to make those throws.
That video Sal Paccio tweeted out, he's flat-footed and throws it 50, 60 yards down the field like it's nothing. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and you're going to need those. And I think that after a full summer of seeing that, and when they're going to be breaking down tape after every practice, and I think the coaches, even if Josh Allen mentally isn't totally ready and isn't fully ready for a full season of quarterback, I think he's going to put a lot of pressure with arm talent alone on these coaches to say they're going to have a hard time explaining to fans that this isn't the best quarterback on the roster just by watching him throw. What do you think?
I agree, and his mind seems to be in the right place too. When he was talking about Shady's comments toward him about how he needs to loosen up, and he's been, I'm just been all about football, so it's nice to have a veteran that kind of loosens me up a little bit. So I think he's in a good situation, and like you said, after watching his arm and the film room and everything, there's going to be too many wow throws or what ifs that connected with these number 3 receivers is going to start with, that I think they're going to slowly elevate him up the depth chart, and ultimately he will start week 1.
Absolutely. So we're going to wrap this up because we like to keep these quick hits. Obviously, we got the podcast this week coming out for everybody, and I think Rob and I have a couple other topics that we might try to get to later in the week too. So stay tuned for these dropping. We'll put it over in the Slack channel, and if by any chance Eric unlocks this for non-premium members, definitely get on the premium, man, because there's a bunch of these coming out. We got all kinds of premium content. You got the app, so it goes directly to your phone for notifications. So follow us, stay tuned. We got tons of content coming out. Definitely give Rob a follow. What is it, Rob? It's at Rob Quinn.
At Rob Quinn 619.
Definitely give him a follow. He loves to interact with everybody. And obviously you can follow me at Aaron Quinn 716. Rob and I are not brothers. But there may be a rumor that we may be cousins. We'll get to that at another episode. So thanks for following us, guys. As always, we appreciate it. We can't do it without you, the fans. So keep it up. Thanks.